little history on her. She had such a servant's heart, and she was always helping others. She had a beautiful voice, and just in everything she did, she was just always a light, and people were always just drawn to her. Anyway, she was clean for about 40 days when she got out and she came home. That was like February 13th of 2010. February 12th. Anyway, to kind of make a long story short in this part of it, she wanted to go out with some friends a couple days after, and that was hard for me to just let her go because of the situations that she had been through in the past, and I was concerned. At some point in that evening, she got mixed up with a crowd that she had hung around before, and I couldn't find her. I lost track of her. When you're a parent of teenagers, sometimes you learn after having a few teenagers that you just can't stay up all night and worrying about them, because they'll keep you up all night all the time and worry. Thank you. So I went to bed that night, and we were all concerned and worried about her. I called her probation officer, and I left a message, and I just said, my daughter didn't come home when she was supposed to. I need you to pick her back up because I'm really concerned about what's going on with her. About 12 o'clock or so in the evening, I got a knock at the door, and it was the sheriff's department. And I thought, oh gosh, they picked her up, awesome, this is great. And he just said to me, are you Jennifer David? And I said, yes, I am. And he said, are you Ashley's mom? I said, yes, I am. Did you get her? You got her picked up? And he said, ma'am, I hate to tell you this, but we found your daughter dead. She's no longer with us. She's dead. And I remember just hitting my knees and just howling like a wolf, just in just such agony and pain. I know the whole neighborhood had to have heard me. And I was just like, no, this can't be. And just the whole world stopped, and everything just wasn't making any sense. I found out she was gone, and everything it happens in such, now that I look back, it's been 8 years. But everything happens in different phases, and for that probably first 2 years, I was so broken, and I just couldn't get myself to get up and do anything, and that wasn't like me, because I'm a person that likes to be a part of everything and just go get her. So for the first couple of weeks after I had found that out, and by the way, we found out after that what had happened was that she made the mistake of messing up, and after being clean for that long and going back to using heroin, if you use what you were using before, it becomes way too much. And in her case, she overdosed because of that. And the people she was with, her friends, they panicked and instead drug her body outside and left her to die instead of calling 911 to help her. The officer that came said he did CPR for probably 30 minutes because he just couldn't stand to look at such a beautiful girl not make it. So that was really heartbreaking in itself. And because I was very well known in my community, maybe not always by the best people, good people, people of all kinds. I had people coming to me asking me if they wanted me to have him taken out. And let me tell you, the anger in my heart wanted one thing, but because I knew the Lord and I knew that vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, I was calling that off, because that is not the way to go. And it was so hard because, I wanted so badly for something to happen to him. And I'm just really thankful that God just had control of me, and I let God take control. For a couple years after that, I remember just laying there in my bed a lot, just crying. You just cannot stop. It's your baby. And I had 4 other kids that needed me, and I tried so hard to put on a fake smile and try to be you're kind of like in an autopilot mode. You're just like, feed the kids, drop them off at school, come home, just cry. Oh, I've got to get the kids, put a fake smile on. Hey guys, here's dinner, everything's great. And really it's not. And they can sense it, and you know it, and they need you, and you want to be left alone, but you need them. And it's just very difficult to tie this all together and to just get it all back to the way it was. But through it all, I know that as I was laying there, and I just kept asking God, why, of all things, I always asked you not to take my babies because it would just kill me inside. And I know that God was speaking to me about, that I needed to start getting out and being a change I wanted to see in the world. That I needed to, that I knew the pain that this was causing in my community. And I needed to start getting out and making a difference. And so I went from just laying in my bed all the time. And by the way, during that time I had some other stuff happen to me, and I had some broken ribs and a messed up arm, and I was just really having a struggle. But anyway, once I finally got healed physically, I started thinking, everyone's always saying somebody needs to do something. Someone needs to get the alleys cleaned up. Someone needs to, get these drug addicts. There's always somebody saying somebody needs to. Well, we have to be the change we want to see in the world. We can't just talk about it. We've got to be about it. And so that really inspired me to start making a little Facebook page at this time. It was called Making It Great in the '08. And I was just trying to encourage my community to do something about the mess that they see around them, whether it be the trash or the graffiti or, just keeping an eye on certain things, the kids that are just running around and no one's watching them. Be the parent that steps up and parents them. And so anyway, I went out, we took some pictures of the alley, we kind of made some posts and spread it around a little bit. And before you know it, it was kind of catching on, and it really felt good. We were cleaning up the alleys of Oildale, and twice a year we would go and clean up about 400 couches or so in the Oildale alleys and drop them off at this event they were having. So I won't go on too much about that, but that really felt good to start getting out and doing something again. Even though after I was done with my event, I would feel like right back to the same mess. So it was a way for me to realize that there was hope. There was a way to get started on things again, but I still just felt so broken and so hurt, and I just didn't know if I'd ever be the same. And so as time went on, God started opening my eyes to being more involved in with the drug addict community. I've been a drug addict myself. I've been homeless myself, different types of drugs, but I had my days. And so I had a unique understanding of what people needed and what they're going through and how to try to help them. And so at some point, every time my daughter's birthday would roll around, as many of you know, if you've lost a loved one, it can be very hard around the holidays and their birthdays and their death day. And it doesn't just last that day. It drags out, it seems like, for weeks and sometimes even months afterwards. And then by the time you're feeling better, then there's a holiday and it just starts all over again. So I found, though, that the more busy that we keep ourselves, the more that we're doing good for others, the more joy is just given to us. And that was just something that was so amazing to me. And so that made me want to just jump into every piece of pie I could. So at some point, I remember right after my daughter's birthday, I was really going through it again, even though I had been fine for a while. It started up again, and I said, God, help me. What am I going to do? I've got to do something. And he said, you know what? Go make a big pot of chicken soup, and I want you just to go give that on Beardsley. And I was like, God, I don't want to. I'm feeling so sorry for myself, and I just can't. I can't go out there and fake it right now. I don't want to. And he said, you just asked me for help. I'm telling you what to do. Go do it, or stay here and cry about it, and, get back to me when you're ready. So I did. I made a big pot of chocolate chicken soup, and I grabbed a table, put it in my car, stopped by the dollar store, grabbed some bowls and spoons. I went down there. I was like, soup, and I'm not feeling it at first. I'm just like, let's get this over with. And before you know it, I forgot about, once again, what I was going through, because I saw the needs and the people that are going through the same thing my daughter may have gone through, or that I may have gone through, and it just felt so good to just try to bring a smile to their face and help them. And so anyway, without going on too much with that ended up turning into what was called the Lord's Kitchen. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that, but it's on Beardsley, and we were feeding every Monday, and it got to be to a level where we were feeding about 200 every Monday, and I would cook in my kitchen, and there were a couple volunteers, but for the most part, me and my kids, they call it being voluntold. I would have them help, why? Because we've got to teach our kids at a young age to raise them up to be little leaders and to be compassionate and helpful and loving. And and from a young age, if they just see you do that, that's what they'll do. If they see you doing bad things, that's what they're going to do. And so, it really was awesome that even though they may not always appreciate it now, They do. I know it makes their heart feel good because I see my daughter Brianna actually one year she sold chocolate bars so that she could go buy a poor family and 5 kids Christmas gifts, and she brought them all in, and it was just so amazing to see her do that. Anyway, yes, that was really awesome to see her do that. She wanted to do it. You know, it wasn't anything she was voluntold to do. But we would cook in our kitchen, and anyway, then before you know it, I was like, oh, this is great. I'm starting to feel good. And I was getting back to my busy little self. And then I'm like, oh, I want to go help over here at this event. I want to be part of this event and all this. And next thing you know, I had so much going on that I don't know how I would keep up with it. People would say, how do you do it? I don't, Jesus, God gets me through it. So, you know, there is hope after we lose a loved one. It's just so hard, and we don't think sometimes that we can get through it, and we stay angry, and we've just got to remember to be forgiving, and, you know, remember vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and also remember to be present with the body, and to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, and, you know, and that really has got to bring us joy, to remember that they may not be with us, but they're in heaven, and someday we're going to be there too, and I'm thankful she's not suffering anymore, and so we've got to try to look at the positives, because we can just eat ourselves up with those negatives. So anyway, I hope I didn't go on too long. Just wanted to encourage you all to be the change you want to see in the world. Don't talk about it, be about it, and get out and do something, and do as much as you can. Fill your plate up with good community activities, because it really feels good and fulfilling to be such a blessing and help to others. Amen.